Welcome to English Grammar Chapter 15 Clauses. In this session, I'll be teaching you the clauses and its type. What is a clause? A group of words that has a subject and a verb and is used as part of a sentence, then we call it as a clause. You might be getting confused between a clause and a phrase. Both are group of words. Both clause and a phrase is group of words. But in a clause you will have a subject and a verb. That's how we can differentiate between a clause and a phrase. A clause is a group of related words containing a subject and a verb. So children, always remember that a clause will always have a subject and a verb. It is different from a phrase which does not include a subject and a verb. A clause needs to have a finite verb. Finite verbs carry tense and change according to person and number. Given below is a list of finite and non-finite verb forms. In finite you have present tense forms and past tense form. Whereas in non-finite you have the infinitives, that is to plus verb. Even you have bare infinitive in that, then ing form of verb, the past participle. Now here again you can see the finite and non-finite differences. In finite it changes according to the person, number, subject and tense, whereas non-finite doesn't depend on verbs, doesn't depend on person, number, subject and tense. Let's do first exercise. Identify the finite verb in each sentence and mark out the clauses in each. Everybody left after the ceremony. Now here the finite verb is left and this is a whole clause. Inviting your cousin was a terrible idea. Again, this is a whole clause and this is the verb. If you have more than one clauses, then you will have more verbs and subject. I love eating paratha. Now love is the verb here and clause is the whole sentence. They expect that Tina would do all the work. Now here we have got two verbs, so two clauses they are, expect and do. They expect is one clause and the second clause is that Tina would do all the work. Rohit believes that Seema is beautiful. Again here we have two verbs. So two clauses. Rohit believes is one clause and second one is that Seema is beautiful. Ram said that he had to leave. Now again here we have two verbs, said and had. Just underline here said and had. So clauses are Ram said is one clause, another one is that he had to leave. Meena has submitted her paper. Now here verb is has, only one verb and the whole sentence is a clause. Only one clause we have in this sentence. If they are deprived of oxygen, the animals will die. Now here again we have two verbs. So two clauses. If they are deprived of oxygen is one clause and the second clause is the animals will die. He played badminton yesterday. We have only one verb, so the whole sentence is a clause. As we walked down the road, he felt calmer. We have two verbs, so two clauses. First is as we walked down the road. Second one is he felt calmer. He was tricked many times before, but he was smarter this time. Now again we have two verbs, was and another was. So we have two clauses. He was tricked many times before is one clause. Second one is but he was smarter this time. Now we will be studying about the main clause and the dependent clause. The main clause, which is also known as independent clause, contains subject plus verb. The subject is involved in the action and verb is also in the action. Consider this sentence. Diane kicked the habit. Where is the subject and where is the verb here? The main clause is the sentence expresses a complete thought. It contains a subject and a verb. So every sentence must have one. The subordinate clause. Whenever you place a subordinate conjunction in front of a subject and a verb, you will no longer have a complete thought. The subordinate clause is sometimes referred to as independent clause. So the main clause is independent clause and subordinate clause is known as dependent clause. These are the two types of clauses. Main clause and subordinate clause. Main clause is the independent clause and subordinate clause is the dependent clause. Identify the main clause and subordinate clause in each of these sentences. The old man picked up the bottle that was lying on the ground. So the main clause is the old man picked up the bottle, and subordinate clause is that was lying on the ground. In the previous slide, as I explained you that in the subordinate clause you will have a conjunction before. So that is a good way to identify. Many times you will get that way, but you know there are some rare cases in which it doesn't follow that way. But mostly it is like that. If you have a conjunction before that, it is subordinate clause. Mother was alarmed to see the front door open when she came home. So the main clause is mother was alarmed to see the front door open, and subordinate clause is when she came home. You can eat whatever you like. Main clause is you can eat. Subordinate clause is whatever you like. When we were in Mumbai, we always walked to school. When we were in Mumbai is the main clause and subordinate is we always walk to school. The little girl who is singing is my niece. Main clause is the little girl is my niece is the main clause and subordinate is who is singing. The car that is at the gate belongs to my friend. Main clause is the car belongs to my friend and subordinate clause is that is at the gate. The judge declared that the defendant was innocent. So the main clause is the judge declared and subordinate clause is that the defendant was innocent. Mr. Gupta makes New Year resolutions which he never keeps for more than a day. So the main clause is Mr. Gupta makes New Year resolutions and subordinate clauses which he never keeps for more than a day. Now we will learn in detail the subordinate clauses. They are the dependent clauses. Subordinate clauses include a finite verb but do not make complete sense on their own. Okay, that's how it is different from main clause. It doesn't give a complete meaning. They are also dependent clauses as they must be used with a main clause to create a full sentence, that is full meaningful sentence. The house which stands on the hill is haunted. Now here which stands on the hill is the subordinate clause. When the match was over, we went out to celebrate. So when the match was over is a subordinate clause here. We can classify subordinate clauses according to their functions also. So this is how it is classified. Subordinate clauses can be a noun clause, adjective or relative clauses and adverb clauses. Let's see noun clause. A noun clause is a subordinate clause which contains a subject and a predicate and does the work of a noun. Noun clauses usually begin with the conjunctions that, if, whether, what, etc. or with the interrogatives why, what, where, when or how. Okay, so from these words you will get a hint that these are noun clauses. A noun clause can function as the subject of a verb. What he says seems true. Now here what he says, it is used in the beginning and this is a clause, so this is subject of a verb. Now the object of a verb. I know that Lena bought a new car. Now here this is after the verb, so this acts as an object. So this is known as object of a verb. The object of a preposition. Don't judge her by how she looks. Now after the verb there is by. After her there is by, so this is object of a preposition. The subject complement. The fact is that he does not know the answer. Now here you have this complement verb. So this acts as a subject complement. An element in opposition to a noun or pronoun. You must always remember this, that hard work always pays. Now when you have this and all, then we can say it as that it is acting as a noun or a pronoun. Underline the noun clause and write its grammatical function. It could be the subject, object, subject complement, object of a preposition, or an element in opposition to a noun or pronoun. That he will participate is certain. Now children, as I told you in the beginning also, when you have conjunction before a sentence, that we will consider as subordinate clauses. In the previous sentence, only one sentence was there in which we were not having any conjunction in the beginning. As I said, there are some rare cases, but mostly you will find a conjunction. So here that he will participate is a subordinate clause and it is acting as a subject of a verb because it is used in the beginning of the sentence. She says her brother is not well. So her brother is not well is object of a verb because it is used after the verb. So this goes as object of a verb. I did not know that he was guilty. Again, this is object of a verb. The principal announced that the certificates would be awarded on annual day. That the certificates would be awarded on annual day is object of a verb. Their belief about the earth that it is flat is absurd. Now here that it is flat is an element in opposition to a noun and the noun is the earth. It is obvious who has stolen your wallet. Who has stolen your wallet? It is an element in opposition to a noun. Whatever happened is now in the past. Now whatever happened is subject of a verb. I feel I know you. That is object of a verb. All depends on how he performs in the final. So how he performs in the final is object of a preposition. Her request is that she may be allowed to leave. That she may be allowed to leave is subject complement. Adjective or relative clauses. To introduce an adjective clause, we use relative pronouns like who, whom, whose, which, that. She is the girl who works in my office. So, who works in my office here is the relative clause, or you can say it as adjective clause. Now relative adverbs are where, when and why. I have visited the place where Lord Krishna born. Now where Lord Krishna born is the relative adverb. Underline the adjective clauses in these sentences and write the relative pronoun or adverb which introduce each such clause. Which is the house where your uncle lives? Now where is adverb. I am grateful to my teacher whose guidance helped me a lot. Now whose is pronoun here. This is the time when we should unite against corruption. When is adverb. I don't know the man she wants to marry. Now here there is a hidden conjunction. Now that is whom. So whom is pronoun here. A spider which has 8 legs is not an insect, which is pronoun. His sister who is younger than him is much smarter. So who here is pronoun. This is the reason why I sent him away. Why is adverb. Is this the building that your sister designed? Now that is pronoun here. The dog that he bought barks at night. That is pronoun. We obeyed all the instructions the teacher gave us. Now again here there is a hidden conjunction. So it is that, and that is pronoun. Exercise 5. Underline the subordinate clause in each sentence and write whether it is a noun clause or an adjective clause. I know a man who can read a book backwards. Now who can read a book backwards is adjective clause. He says that he is a vegetarian. That he is a vegetarian is a noun clause. We saw a movie that I had seen before. That I had seen before is adjective clause because it is talking about the noun movie. Do you think I don't know the answer? I don't know the answer is noun clause. So here it is talking mainly about the answer. So that is noun. Please tell me how to bake a cake. How to bake a cake is noun clause. Again, here they are talking about the noun cake. I saw that the child was going to cry. Now again it is a noun clause because here it is talking about the child. Your statement that 70% of our population is illiterate is not true anymore. Now again that 70% of our population is illiterate. Here they are talking about illiterate people. Again it's a noun, so it is a noun clause. Nishi does not know how to answer. Answer is the main thing here, so this is talking about the noun clause. Nobody knows when Sumit will arrive. When Sumit will arrive, so here Sumit is the main thing, so it is noun clause. What he told me was a lie. Now what he told me is a noun clause. There is a tunnel here that leads to the other side of the fort. Now that leads to the other side of the fort is describing more about the noun tunnel. So this is adjective clause. Who will tell me what the sentence mean? What the sentence mean here is noun clause. So that's the end of this interesting chapter. I hope you have understood it well. For homework today you will be writing exercise 1, 2, 3 and 4 in notebook and exercise 5 in textbook. Thank you and may God bless you. Take care.